Hi everybody, it's Claire and welcome to the fifth and final tutorial for this beautiful flower wreath from Joanna Basford's World of Flowers. It was dedicated to our Joanna Basford Your Pages group by Joanna herself in recognition of a beautiful book that our members had collated for her of her own work. So it's merited something special, I think. It's merited a 5-part full-page tutorial. And I hope you've been colouring along. I've been seeing some of your work in progress and it's absolutely brilliant. I'd like a shout out on I think my last tutorial I'd talked about a lady who'd done a version of hers, but she'd put a different mountainous background in and then some beautiful mushrooms, and I couldn't remember her name, and her name is Karen Stavala. And just a shout out to Karen, because the rendition she did of that was absolutely beautiful, and I apologise I forgot your name the first time, Karen. So you can see I've got my trusty page of notes. Again, as per the last tutorial, I've got an awful lot of kit out, bear with me, and we'll tick things off as we go through. Also, as before, you can see that we're doing the left-hand side of these flowers this time. You can see that I've prepped, so we'll just be taking you through the little bits that are left to colour in, but the little bits that are left will give you the whole of the palettes and the whole of the techniques to do all of this side and finish it off. Okay, so we're going to start off with this. I think it's a Dahlia. And what you haven't seen me do is the inside, which is just literally gold glitter gel pen. So you didn't need to see me colour that in. It's just gold pen. Okay, let's finish off these few leaves. So what I need for my Dahlia colours, I need my black, which is PC935. I need my black raspberry, which is PC1095. I need my Tuscan Red, which is PC937. I need my raspberry, which is PC1030. And I need my Crimson Lake, which is PC925. And finally, my Scarlet Lake, which is PC923. As always, I will write these down for you. Now, I know you're probably thinking, crikey, that's 6 colours for these little tiny petals. It'll be grand. And what I'm going to do now is zoom you in. And then I'll adjust the book. Okay. Now can you see we're going to be working here? I'll just move that over slightly. Wrong way. Wrong way, Holoway. There we go. Okay. So bear in mind I've got 6 colours. These are going to be very, very tiny layers. I'm just going to start in the very centre with the darkest, tiny, tiny little blend layer of black. Firmer behind, just as we've always blended. And what I should say is you can see that these there's some petals that are sitting in the background here, and I've just put them all in block colour black raspberry just because they're sitting at the back, so they'll be in shadow a little bit. So I can put my black to one side. Let me put it over here. Then I'm going to go to my black raspberry, and again, tiny little scumbled line just outside of that black. And by putting the dark centres in the centre, you just give the flower depth, you give the petals depth. We're going to swing to our Tuscan Red. And you'll recognise this palette from the, well, 2 things. You'll recognise this palette from the Dahlia tutorial, the separate Dahlia tutorial that I've done. But you'll also probably recognise it from the Red Velvet Curtain tutorial. This is the same palette. Raspberry, medium firm pressure, then we're just going to finish off with Crimson Lake. Just leave the tops free. There we go. And then we're just going to finish off these very top bits with the lightest Scarlet Lake. And that's how I did all of the petals for this beautiful Dahlia flower. Okay, now we're going to go on to the leaves. So I need to pull out my dark green, my Prussian green, my apple green, and my spring green. So let me just give you the Prismacolor numbers for those. So dark green is 908, Prussian green is 109. This is going dark to light. Apple green is, sorry, did I say spring green before? It's apple green, PC912, and chartreuse, PC989. So, I've got a lot of colours out here because I'm trying to give you different palettes, so I'm not going to use the same palettes that I've already done the other leaves for, because I use that the peacock green and the grass green an awful lot. So I'm just trying to give you some ideas for different palettes that you can use, because sometimes green is green and you kind of think, how can I make that different? So this is just giving you a few ideas of some different palettes. So I'm just going to start off with my darkest, which is my dark green. And I'm just going to put a little blend line. Again, I've got 4 pencils on my hand. Think about the size of the leaf. It's about 1/4 of the way up. And apologies if you can hear noise in the background. I told my husband before I was starting this that I was making the tutorial and to keep everybody quiet, and I think he's just done the opposite. But never mind. Okay. So I can put my dark green to one side. Prussian green. Little blend line. Light pressure blend line, firmer behind and over the blend line of that dark green. Very, very simple blending technique with these Prismacolors. Apple green, and then we're just going to finish off with chartreuse. Beautiful bright chartreuse colour. Okay, now then, what do I need to tell you about next? So let me just tick our Dahlia off from our list. These little mini daisies here, you didn't need to see me colour those. Those are just block coloured in lemon yellow. I have my lemon yellow here. It's PC915. Okay. Now then, these leaves, again, just a lovely little new palette to try out. I need to pull out my moss green, which is PC1097, my sap green, sorry, yes, looking at my notes, sap green, which is PC120, and then my lightest is my pale sage, which is PC1089. And we're going to apply the exact same technique, so we're going to start at the bottom with the moss green. And this time, because this, can you see how this leaf here, and let me just check that you can still see where I'm working. We're working here. Yes. So this, can you see this leaf here? It's kind of sat in front of the one that we're going to colour in. So there would be a little shadow line. So I'm just going to draw a blend line in light touch. There would be a shadow. This leaf that's sitting in front would create a shadow over the leaf that we're colouring in. Okay. So instead of kind of going up over this time, I'm going to follow the pattern that shadow of the leaf in front would make. Okay, so that's our moss green. Then our sap green light. Just going to follow this pattern. Just follow the pattern of the shadow. Little blend line. And again, these are just 3 different green colours for you to give a whirl of a new palette. It's not boring in Holoway world. And then we just finish off with pale sage. It's one of my favourite colours, pale sage. I use it a lot. Okay, now then, let's have a look at this beautiful shiny leaf flower here. So I need to pull out my cobalt turquoise, which is PC105. I need to pull out my aquamarine, which is PC905. I need to pull out my light aqua, which is 992. And then I need my white as a blender pencil, which is 938. And I'm just going to make sure the tip of that white is clean because we're going to be using it as a blender pencil. Okay. Now again, what you didn't see me do was the inside. So the inside of this is... the very outside is just orange glitter gel pen and the centre is gold glitter gel pen. Put my teeth back in. And I think there was one other thing I needed to tell you. Again, in the same way that we had the shadow leaves in the shadow petals in the background of the dahlia. Can you see there's some shadow petals in the background of this beautiful daisy? And all I've done here is use block coloured in peacock blue, which is 1027. Okay. So, cobalt turquoise. Let me show you how I make these petals shiny. And again, there is a separate tutorial on just on shiny petal leaves if you wanted to look up and have a separate go of that. It's in a bit more detail. So I'm just going to take my cobalt turquoise, which is my deepest of the three, and we're working here. So I'm just going to pull this over a little bit. Is that better? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tiny blend line here, just a couple of millimeters out from the center of the flower, and then firmer behind. And then what we do is we put one of these coloured bands in on the tip of the petals. So little blend lines. Firmer behind. Okay, put my cobalt turquoise down and go to aquamarine. And I'm just going to blend in, again, just about a millimetre or so. Just a slightly lighter band of colour, the beautiful turquoise colour. And then we're going to do something slightly different. So I'm going to take my light aqua, and I'm going to make sure it's quite sharp. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw we're going to colour in little teeth. So I'm still blending over the line of the aquamarine, but I'm just making myself little teeth, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then on the other side, kind of do it in mirror, if that makes sense. So where you've put a line on one side, put a line in the space on the other side. You see? So it makes it like a little zip. Okay? And then what we do is, very simply, to make these leaves look shiny, very, very easy trick. I'm just going to use my white as a blender pencil, and I'm just going to sharpen it up. And then all we do, just in little strokes, in a firm pressure, just over the middle bit, just over those little zips that you put in, just blend them out with white. And it kind of makes the, have I got a bit of paper handy? It kind of makes the petals look like they're curled, like that, so that the highlight is kind of on this side. That makes sense? Now then, where do we need to move down to? We need to move down to these little flowers here. So, this is where we're going to be working. Okay. Now then, let's do these little petals first. And I like this palette because it almost reminds me of Neapolitan ice cream. So, I'm just going to check my little list. So, I need to pull out my raspberry, which we've had before. I need my blush pink, which is PC928, and I need my cream, which is PC914. Okay, I'm going to start with my darkest, which is my raspberry. And sorry, the insides of these, I explained, I think, in tutorial 1 or 2, they're the Calero Gold watercolour paints. And I'm just going to put myself a little blend line, but I'm going to follow the inside petals, just for a little bit of interest rather than horizontal lines. So just follow the pattern, and then firmer behind. By rights, Freckles should be tired because he's been to the beach, but clearly he's not. He's having a bit of a bark, as he usually does on these tutorials. Okay, and I'm going to go to my blush pink. Just blend over it a little bit, but don't take it quite to the top. And then we're going to give them lovely cream, these petals lovely cream tips. Again, just a lovely little new palette to try. Just trying to give you little things to play around with. Okay. And then very, very simply, these petals are... Sorry, the leaves, rather. The leaves are one of my favourite palettes. I needed these. So I need my... yes, I need my grass green, which is PC909. I need my apple green, which is 912. I need my spring green, which is 913. and I need my chartreuse, which is 989. And then very simply, again, just with your darkest, the grass green, blend line. Once you get the hang of these blending, you can literally do anything. You can see how many things you can do once you nail this. Apple green. And this is the palette that I use the most for leaves. But again, not all leaves are the same, so let's try new things sometimes. Spring green. And I'm just going to finish off with a little bit of chartreuse, just so the end of that leaf is leaf is highlighted. Trouble with my words today. And these little closed flowers, so it's these flowers but are closed, so all I've done is these tiny bits here are spring green, just block coloured, and these buds are block coloured in the deepest colour that we used here, which is raspberry. Okay, let me check that you're in shot. We're working here. I'm going to do this leaf here, the leaf of the fuchsia, and we're going to pull out peacock blue. I'm going to pull out 1027. We're going to pull out parrot green, which is 1006, and we're going to pull out light green, which is sorry, that's tree green. No, we're going to pull out true green, which is 910. Okay, and then we're going to make our little selves a little cup shape, just for interest, so we make the center of the leaf the highlight. So just put a light touch blend line in a cup shape. So peacock blue at the top, firm pressure behind. Okay, and then parrot green, follow the pattern, and then true green. Beautiful kind of teal colours. Okay, now then, let's have a look at this fuchsia. So I need my mulberry, which is 995. I need my magenta, which is 930, and I need my pink, which is 929. Okay, so all I've done for this top part of the fuchsia is I've taken my darkest colour, which is my mulberry, and just gone half the way up with a blend line. Firmer behind, and then I've just put the tips in the lighter pink. Okay, so just blended the pink. And again, have a research of these flowers on Google. It really does help with your palettes. And then what you haven't seen me do is I've used my magenta just to block colour in the bulb almost of this beautiful fuchsia plant. Okay, let's have a look at these fronds. The fronds are very simple. They are green ochre, which is 1091, artichoke, which is 1098. You can see how loved some of these pencils are getting, and lime peel, which is 1005. Okay, I'm just going to sharpen up this green ochre a little bit. And this is, if you add kind of burnt ochres and chocolates, this is an awfully good palette for trees. I used a very similar palette to this for the tree that we drew into the Okapi page from Magical Jungle, if you've seen that. 3 pencils, so a third of the way up, a blend line in your darkest colour, which is green ochre, artichoke, light touch blend line, firmer behind, and we finish off with lime peel for the light tips of these beautiful blades of grass. Okay, now that I probably need to adjust my book again, because we're going to be working here. Pull it this way, that's better. Okay, Now this is my favourite palette. So this is my Peacock green. Let me just grab these. Yes, so I've got this is my standard 6 colour leaf. So this is my Peacock green, which is 907. It's my grass green again, my apple green again, my spring green, which is 913, my chartreuse again, and then I've also got my yellow chartreuse out, which is 1004. And we're going to do a cup-shaped blend. So, darkest peacock green, blend line in a cup shape. And I think I mentioned on the first tutorial that the brown that you can see is just brown glitter gel pen. Just carefully of that carnation. Okay, and just to go back as well, just with these blades of grass, I've used, see the blades of grass here? That's also the green ochre, artichoke and lime peel. And these ones here, all the same, green ochre, artichoke and lime peel. I'm going to go to my grass green, blend line, follow the cup shape. Firmer behind. And you take your time over this. I'm just colouring at speed for the sake of the tutorial, but take your time. Apple. Light touch blend line, follow the cup shape. Spring green. And you'll kind of not be able to keep your cup shape as you get towards the very top, but that's all right. Okay, chartreuse, and then we're going to put the tip of the beautiful light chartreuse, yellow chartreuse at the very top. Okay, now I think the last thing we have to do is this carnation here. Don't think you can still see me, because the leaves of the carnation are the same as we did for the dahlia. So that's the Prussian green, sorry, the dark green, the Prussian green, the apple green and the chartreuse. And again, the leaves for this orange daisy are again the same. So dark green, Prussian green, apple green, chartreuse. So you don't need to see me colour those because it's exactly the same technique as we used for the dahlia that we did at the start of this tutorial. And again, these fronds here, I've just block coloured in yellowed orange. Let me give you the reference for that. It's 1002. And the reason I picked orange is because I can just grab this without spilling everything in the art room. If you have a look at your colour wheel, and you can pick these up for a pound or two online. If you have a look at your colour wheel, can you see that in full? If you have a look down here, it's blue. Yeah? And if you look at the opposite of the colour wheel, the complementary colour is orange. And that's why I picked kind of an orangey yellow colour for these fronds, simply because they complement the colour of the water, the blues of the water. So sometimes if you're trying to make your mind up what colours things should be, it's always useful to have your colour wheel because it'll tell you what complementary colours are. Now then, believe it or not, all we're going to do for this beautiful carnation is, and I should say I've done the centre in gold glitter gel pen. What we're going to do for this is take one colour. This is just one colour, and it's lavender, which is 934. And we're going to use our white colour as a blender. So I'm just going to clean that up just on the sleeve of my jumper, just because we used it in the aquamarine daisy. So I don't want any aquamarine on this. So this is the same technique as we used for the pansies, the violas in tutorial 4, so the last tutorial. So we use one colour, but we drag the colour about to make shades of that same colour, depth of that same colour with our white pencil, and it's a really neat trick. So again, I'm looking here, you can still see me. Let's move it up very slightly. Take a few seconds to look at the crease marks of the petals that Joanna's put in, yeah? And all we're going to do is, in a firm hand, just follow those patterns. Then what we're going to do is in between. We're going to scumble in a medium pressure round about halfway up these petals. Medium pressure for this. And then what we'll do is we'll use our white to drag it into these empty spaces here. And it's just a really nice effect with one colour and your white as a blender pencil. Because sometimes you don't want a different colour for the edges of your petals. You just want the same colour but in a watered down shade. And it just works really well. It's quick and it's neat. And it's easy. And if you think you've, this is a firm pressure by the way I should say, and if you think you've kind of just want to outline these creases, just so that the petals are realistic, just go back and put them in. And that, I believe, is us done. So let me zoom out, because we have ourselves a finished picture. And there's one thing left that we need to do. Our trusty 0.2 black fine liner, we're going to sign it. You don't have to sign your work, I like to sign mine. A lot of you will know that I had a beautiful chocolate Labrador called Cadbury. Sadly she passed away to Rainbow Bridge in August 2017. She used to sit at my feet while I coloured, and we don't have children, she was our daughter, and her loss was a devastation. Colouring got me through those really difficult few weeks. So a lot of you will know that I sign my completed pages now with a little paw print, and that's in memory of Cadbury. So, and if you're going to sign your work, just a little tip. There are, you do get the odd person that will have no qualms about taking your work and making it theirs. Try to put a signature somewhere where it couldn't be cut off. So if someone was going to take your image, if you kind of put it down here somewhere, it could easily get chopped off. If you're going to sign it, I would say pick somewhere where it's very difficult on the design to remove. And I just do a little kidney bean shape for Cadbury's paw. And just fill it in. And it's nice to sign your work. We don't own the copyright, clearly. Joanna owns the copyright for the design. But at the end of the day, it's your rendition of the page. Doggies have 4 paw pads. 2 small ones. And 2 big ones. And I think that's the first time I've shown anybody an actual doing the signature. But there we have it. So, I really, really hope you've enjoyed it. Please, please keep posting your work in progresses, and I will look forward to seeing your completed pages. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, any questions, give me a ring. Bye for now.